All right, tonight, guys, I want to share with you this random purchase from today's shopping trip into my local town that has a Macy's. So I'm sure I overpaid for it, but regardless, I was there and they had a decent sale on it, and it was a really cool looking watch. They had a bunch of other citizens there and some Seikos and everything like that. So this one kind of caught my attention. This is the bn0211-50e. The price tag is $495, of course, with all the discounts and everything. And tax, I think I landed around $350. From what I understand, these can be, purchased for less than $300 if you look around. I didn't even bother looking to confirm most of that. I just noticed, like on Amazon, I think they're like $318, so I was like, I was fine with that. So this one, the seconds hand hits the marks, and overall it actually looked like a really cool watch. So I figured I'd grab it, check it out, and share it with you guys. And what drew me in is I've always been a big fan of the Victorinox Inox, and this thing really kind of seems similar to that in overall aesthetics, but that's essentially where it stops because the dimensions are definitely different. This guy's a 42 millimeter case, the lug to lug. I've seen some different measurements, but I just threw it on my calipers and I get a 51 millimeter, but that's all the way to the furthest point out. Thinness, it's only 10.55 millimeter thick, and that's including the basically completely flat sapphire crystal. That's right, sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. The lug width is 22 millimeter. Thankfully, it's nothing weird like a 19 or a 21. And the H-link bracelet tapers down to a 20 millimeter. However, the clasp seems a bit oversized and also measures in at about 22 millimeter. I really wish they would have went with a smaller, a little more refined feeling clasp. It feels sharp and not super smooth in its operation. But one of the things that kind of drew me into this watch is the monocoque design of the case. How cool is that? I think that is slick. There's not a ton of watches out there in the modern era, like right now, that are being made that feature this. And it's nice to see it at this price point and features. I think part of the reason why they did this on this guy is, one, it has the Echo Drive solar quartz movement in it. I think it's a E168 movement, and they can place that in there, and basically it's really not going to need servicing for quite a while. It shouldn't anyway, unless something drastically goes wrong. But also it really adds to the rigidity of the case, and they're calling this one the ProMaster Tough. So if they're going to give it that name right from the factory, then they better darn throw a sapphire in there and make a really solid case. Has a screw down crown, 200 meter water resist, and it's the H-link bracelet is nicely done. It is a friction pin. I did pop one link out, and it fits fairly good on my 7 1/4 wrist. That is one issue you're going to run into if you guys ever look at doing an H-link bracelet. Sizing it will kind of throw you for a loop because you can't just pull the H-link out. You have to pull the H-link and a center tab so you can mate the H-link to the other center tab. So it actually takes out quite a bit of length on there. So that can be tricky to get a really good fit. This one does have 3 micro adjusts, but I think with this clasp they could have easily have done a 4th. I'm not sure why they didn't on this one. That's something, if I felt like I needed to, I probably could add, but it does fit okay. Now, I have read a few reviews. There's not too many YouTube reviews. Obviously, Jeff McMahon did one, and then I think there's a couple others. Certainly, Nick Shabazz did one, because this is a really cool quartz watch, and it appeals to a lot of people with its toughness, affordable price, and grab-and-go feature. Of course, it has the date window there over at the 3 o'clock. But the overall dial aesthetics, although simple, are super legible and clean. I don't think it's so simple that I think people can just dismiss it with a, not intriguing or enough there. I think it's done well enough that it'll work. The hands, I can say, are, they're okay. You can see a little bit of roughness around them. You can definitely tell they're not like finished. They were just cut out of a template or something out of a mass production and placed in the watch. So not a lot of fine finishing, but that's okay when you're buying a watch. I think that's considered, the ProMaster tough. So you're going to have some good loom on this. I'll give you a loom shot at the end, towards the end of the video. I may or may not add at the end of the video, taking the bracelet off and trying to find some 22 millimeter straps. So that'll be towards the end. But you can see very legible and overall pretty clean. That hour hand almost looks like it submerges into that center part of the dial, and then the minute hand follows the upper track there. So pretty well done, clean, easily to read watch. You do have a signed ProMaster signature there on the crown, and basically everything is brushed in many different directions. So you're not going to have any polished surfaces on this. So, all right, guys, let me give you a wrist shot. I'll compare it to that solar tune on the back there, because that's my other. You can see there on my 7 1/4 wrist, it wears great. I'm wearing it a little bit loose, which is fine, but I'm surprised. I've been wearing like 40, 39, smaller watches other than like the Monsters and stuff like that. And for this, it's easier to pull off a dive watch in a 42 or something like that, because the center part, the dial, is smaller, because you have the rotating bezel on the outside. So you can see here like the look of it. This guy is still a fairly large watch, even though it has a shorter lug to lug, but you can see how much of a difference it makes with just, doing the different dial size. So you can see there some nice profiles. So just a couple solar watches. So how about this? How about I close you out with a loom shot? Hopefully this will show up. You know what? In order to do this, though, I need to get that. I'm going to have to upset the time here. We need to get the hands separated, because you can kind of see, even in the regular light, the hour and the minute hand are going to be two different looms. So that on the minute hand, I think that's what it was. I'll find out here in a second. They used like a blue loom, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, hopefully that'll show up. You can see all the indices, and the hour and second are all green. And then you have like a bluish color. Hopefully it picks up in video. If not, it is certainly almost like everything's in the green luminova, and then the minute hand basically almost looks like it has BGW9 on it, even though it's not. That's not what it is. So you can see it's similar to what Seiko did on this guy too. It might be hard to pick up because it's so dark in here. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see if I can get a strap on here. If not, otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. It is on a Armilla strap. I think that looks really good, very tough and military looking. Let me see if I can toss it on a wrist. And doing a double up NATO on something this thin would probably be fine for most guys. You guys know that NATOs are definitely not my main thing, but I really like the way they make watches look. So I definitely would like to show you guys so you guys can see. But I mean, that's on a standard setup. I know there's different ways to fold your NATOs and everything, but this thing only being 10.5 millimeter thick, you can easily wear it on a NATO like this. So I think this is a really good looking option here. So I'll see if I can throw it on the Watch Steward now. All right, guys, here it is on a Watch Steward strap. I did a review on these not too long ago. So I think the lug spacing on it is far enough away from the case that you can wear pretty much any NATO, Perlon, this style of strap, anything, it's going to be 22 mil wide. I think you're going to be able to, use this as a daily wear. If you're like a big time into NATOs or single pass or anything like that, you're gonna really dig this watch. As good as an H-link bracelet is, I could definitely see wearing this on some really good NATOs or single pass. I think the bracelet just is. I'm not a huge fan of the clasp and everything like that, but the watch head and design and everything is really cool. So definitely one to check out, you guys, if you're looking for one of these guys. Thanks for watching.